Hi guys, I am here with a story from the good old days for you. This one's called The Lesser of Two Evils. And they were so many things she'd rather do. Wouldn't we all? Excuse me, and it's by Mary Ann Gadberry. And as you can see, the picture of the two little girls here, before I read the story, one is the author and one's her sister, doing dishes. That's every little kid's favorite thing to do, so I'm sure this is what they're talking about. Let's get into the story and see. Doing dishes was a waste of my talents, or so I thought. It was, however, one of those chores where no matter how much you whined and moaned about it, there was no escape. I could never understand how my mother had the patience to wait out every excuse I came up with for postponing the dreaded deed. If I had a sudden stomach ache, she would say, "You should lie down for a while. The dishes will be there when you get up." If I said I had homework, she would simply say, "You should have thought of that when you got home from school." One of her favorite sayings to me when I was stalling was, "The sooner you get started, the sooner you'll get done." Now that was a way of stating the obvious that I couldn't argue with. Looking back, I actually had it easy. I didn't even have to do the dishes by myself. Most of the time my mom washed while my sister Rita and I shared the drying. Of course, you know how well sisters get along when it comes to sharing chores. There was always the one, usually me, who would take longer than needed to dry an item, and there was also the one, usually me again, that would make sure her towel got soaking wet so that she had to find another dry dish towel to use. The soaking towel trick could burn up as much as 3 or 4 good minutes of dish drying time that would then fall to the one sister, not me, who was dutiful enough to just stand there and do it as she was told. I never felt it was fair that my brother Edgar, better known as Fudd, didn't have to ever do dishes. That was just the way things were at that time. Girls did the dishes, boys did not. The reason I'd given for Fudd's lack of dish drying assignment was that he had chores to do outside, but I wanted to know why I wasn't given the option to do outside chores. After all, how hard can it be to pick eggs and milk cows? Surely it had to be easier than drying dishes and putting them away. Edgar could make anything sound fun, and after he found out that I would rather be picking eggs and milking cows than doing dishes, he decided to teach me a lesson. First, he convinced me that if I did a good job with his chores, they would be mine, and I would never have to do dishes again. Never once did I think about the fact that he had no authority to make that offer. He was 5 years older than I was, and I was naive enough to think that he would never lie to me. My first clue should have been when we went into the chicken coop to pick eggs, and he told me that all I had to do was reach in the nest and gather the eggs. If there was a hen still sitting on the nest, just reach under her, and she'd stand up and let you have the eggs. As you've probably guessed, that little scenario never happened. But what did happen was I stuck my arm under the hen, and she pecked at my arm and made me bleed. I started to lose trust in the fact that my brother was genuinely trying to help me advance out of housekeeping chores and into outdoor chores. However, he looked shocked, and he swore he had no idea that the hen would peck me. He then stated he'd never had that happen to him in all the years he'd been picking eggs. He was very convincing, and I agreed to help him finish his chores. We walked into the barn, and I stayed in the main part while he got the cows into the milking area and lined up the stool and milk pail. He told me it was safe to come in there, and so I went in and stood next to him while he began the milking process. He made it look so easy. The cows stood perfectly still, and other than the occasional switch of their tails, you would have hardly known they were there. Soon as it was my turn and I sat down at the stool with all the confidence in the world that was going to be a cakewalk, I thought. But then it dawned on me I had no idea what to do next. The longer I hesitated, the more agitated the cow got, and the more nervous I got, the more the cow moved. Soon she lifted her hind leg and kicked over the milk pail. That was it. I was out of there. I broke all track records racing back to the house, and I vowed never to complain or whine about doing dishes again. Like most promises, I broke in less than a week, but for a few days my mom had a daughter who thought doing dishes was definitely the least of several evils. See, there's always something worse, guys. You think you got it bad, but someone's always got it worse than you do. I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.